Welcome everyone to another CTC software webinar. My name is Chris Berger, Director of Technical Services here at CTC, and today we are going to discuss a tool from the BIM Project Suite called Revision Manager and give you the lowdown and answer any questions you may have if you're attending live. Which brings me to the next point. If you're attending live, please, I encourage you to ask questions throughout the webinar. I will be monitoring it and we'll answer them as I see them if it makes sense. And we'll make sure to take time at the end to answer any remaining questions that I missed or whatever you got. And then if you're watching after the fact, please use the comments. We monitor those as well, ask questions there, and we will be sure to respond to those. And this is also going to be recorded and on our YouTube channel shortly after the presentation concludes. So with that said, let's just jump right into it today. So revisions are a wonderful thing and a requirement in many of our projects. There's always a little bit of a construction administration process potentially in projects, and you know there are times where we want to notate when sets have been published and made available, whether it was for design development or permit set or city submissions and OSHPD, whatever the case may be, and then we have all of our addendums and requests for information or proposals and all the good stuff. So Revit's native format is a great starting point, right? It gives you a place to input all the information, and it schedules. You have the ability to add certain revisions to sheets that maybe aren't clouded. And however, a lot of this management, once you have defined the revision itself, is a very manual process, right? And there's a lot of click here, open this, close that, and on a per sheet basis. And then what if you wanted to report on that information? And maybe you need something for Excel. Now we got to build extra schedules and do extra things. Today's webinar discusses Revision Manager and how this tool can help you with reporting, some editing, making sure that certain revisions are on the appropriate sheets, even if a cloud doesn't or isn't defined in that view or on that sheet. So we're going to show you all about that and how it works. So today, you should be able to find Revision Manager, be familiar with the interface, know where things are, how things work, and then we're just going to show you how it works. We're going to execute a couple of real quick modifications to revisions on sheets and edit some data. We'll do some exports, data manipulation inside of Excel, load it back in, and then show you some additional resources and how to get your hands on it. Pretty straightforward demo for today, and we'll just jump right into it. Alrighty, now just to kind of recap for those of you that are still relatively new to the revisions features inside of Revit, all of your management natively in Revit happens in your issues and revisions. Right? And this is, review from probably a lot of us. But you come in here, you add a revision, you give it a date, what the description is. You have numbering options for numeric, alphanumeric, and then you go back and you cloud it, you associate it appropriately, you're done, right? But without any revisions in the drawing, Revision Manager is not going to do you a whole lot of good. So now that I have a few listed out, and I've got a few assigned to some of my sheets, right? I've got one drawn in here. I've got a couple of them associated, and I did this the good old-fashioned way. Go to the sheet, find revisions on sheet, and you check the box. So for my DD and CD sets and my permit set, I want those to be documented and listed in my schedule. I went ahead and manually checked these boxes. And I have to do that for each sheet, one sheet at a time without the tool. Or you draw a little cloud in the corner and turn it off. That isn't a great way to go about doing it, especially if you've got, once you start getting multiple clouds drawn in the little bottom corner, that gets to be really tedious and not a very good workflow. So don't do that, please. And now, but like I said, I got to hit each sheet one at a time, check those boxes. Big projects, hundreds of sheets, it's going to take you a lot of time. Enter Revision Manager. So if you go to the CTC Productivity tab, in the green package of tools here for the CTC BIM Project Suite, we have Revision Manager right there in the middle. And if you've already got revisions in your model and you've got them drawn up and some defined and placed in views or on sheets, this potentially could take a little bit to open. It's got to scan every single sheet and find all the revisions. There's some options built in to control how much it's scanning and when it's scanning, if you need to. Now, the UI breaks us down into two tabs, Sheets and Revisions, and then Revision Clouds. The Sheets and Revisions tab here on the front will list every single sheet, all of the revisions that you have, how many you've got in your drawing. Right now I've got 12, and then a checkbox for each revision in each sheet. And this is the show on the revisions on sheet checkbox that you would need to manually check if there wasn't going to be a cloud. So for example, on my sequence 1, 2, and 3 are for the DD 100%, the permit set, and the CD 100%. Any sheet that needs to be included within those packages, I need to check a box for those. So, and it's just a matter of finding the sheet, check the box, and you're done. You click apply, it's going to go ahead and do that for you. So I'm going to add sequence 2 to the third floor, so A203B. I'm just going to hit apply and OK, just to show you real quick. And if I go find A203B, it checks the box, it's done the deal, and we're good to go. There we are, 203B. It's added that, right? So I didn't have this before. I just manually added that myself. Now I can come in here, do the same thing. I can take it away if I'd like. When I go back into Revision Manager, it's going to be unchecked. So you can kind of gather the workflow there. You can check as many or as little boxes in this area as you see fit. 203B now is unchecked. So we see it's working. There's a better workflow for this though. You don't have to do it all here. We actually give you the ability to kick out an Excel file with all of these sheets and revisions, and you can fill it out in Excel if you'd like. So I'm going to do a quick little save. I'll overwrite my file there and hit open. Now from Excel, I can do everything I need to do here. Now, there was one little setting in the options that is the character that you want to use to determine that a view or a sheet needs to show a particular revision on it. And mine was defaulted to an X. You can change that if you would like it to be something else or another, another letter, some other symbol, go for it. Whatever you're happy with. And again, for these first 3, these are kind of my, total package sets. So if there's anything else in here that I needed to add, I can add that now. So if I want to add all my enlarged plans here to my permit set, and maybe I should add my structural plans to the permit set, I can do that. Oops. And I should have had the X entered. And, the nice thing about using Excel is that not all, Excel's easy to use, right? It's a lot better than having to go to each individual sheet and check a box. I can just do it right here. Now, if it doesn't need to have a revision on it, just leave it blank. Save the file And I've got a couple of extra examples open. Come back to Revit, click load. Grab your spreadsheet, bring it in. It's gonna list everything because it sees that everything has an X on it. These are all the sheets that had something. It's just letting you know. But the important piece is to come find out what was changed. So my framing plans here got some stuff added, and my finished plans got some stuff added. By clicking apply and OK, it's going to now add revision 2, or sequence 2 in this case, to all of these sheets for me. And so now I've got nothing to worry about. I've just updated, at least 10 sheets. I guess I wasn't counting. But I updated 10 sheets. Now, as you can see, I guess I don't have any views here, but I have revisions on them now. So there they are. My permit set now includes my framing plans. All right. Now, the next area in here that I want to talk about is the cloud management. This is where we get a little bit more control over some of the data that's in the model. Now, what this tab is doing is it's listing out all of the revision clouds that have been physically drawn in the file. And then it's telling you what revision it's been associated with. So anytime you add a revision cloud somewhere, that's going to start to appear here. Now, and we have a couple of extra fields for comments and mark, and depending on what your corporate revision standards are, you might be using mark as the number, and then the actual revision number just isn't used. That's there's various reasons for doing stuff like that. I know I worked with a group a few years back where we had some interesting ways of getting things done because they had a very unique tagging process. In this case, I'm just using the simple out-of-the-box versions. But take advantage of these comments, right? Maybe, whatever you need to use. Addendum, first floor offices or something like that. And if it helps, use them. Take advantage of it. When I save this, I can save these out to Excel as well. And this assists with some additional data management regarding the project itself. And the construction administration process can be extremely in-depth and involved, and there's a lot going on, especially if you're coordinating amongst multiple disciplines, whether they're as consultants or it's in-house. There's a lot to do. So you can export this to Excel, open it up, make adjustments. If you're using the mark parameter for whatever reason, use it. Enter some data here. It's a text-based property, so mark doesn't always have to be a number. It can be, doesn't have to be. But you can take advantage of it for additional data points if it makes sense. And put additional notes in. So let's do this one. This was an exterior, I can't spell today, exterior wall or window wall detail edit or something like that. I forget exactly what it was that I had highlighted, but I know it was on the exterior wall. Office, system, fern, adjust. So I'm just adding some notes here, and however you want to coordinate that, maybe you've got other Excel files with data in it from your consultants or other disciplines in-house. You can bring all this stuff into a singular Excel data file for management, and maybe that's where the revision itself ultimately gets defined, and then we take a version of that to help update our Revit files. This one was bathroom redefine, or I laid it out differently. Layout, edit, there we go. And I did that. HU reposition. And I don't remember what that was. So I'm just going to save it. And then I turn around and I can load it right back into Revit. So I'll hit load, come over here, get my data management sheet that I just saved. Here they are. The data comes in based off and it's all tied to the element IDs, right? So as long as that cloud exists with that same value, it's going to populate accordingly. So now I can repurpose that cloud and give it a different, give it some different information if I need to. The comments potentially, maybe you have those showing up in your schedules as well. That can happen. It's entirely up to you how you formatted that, obviously. So let's go find one of those. The third floor. Here's that cloud. There's the comment for it, right? So it's not just empty, dumb data that you're entering in for spreadsheet use, is actually getting pulled back into the model. So if you're extracting the data to other facilities type software, or maybe you're using the information in your ACC project, in your hubs up there for additional issues and reviews, that all will be present as well when you start to work with it. So I'm trying to see here. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole heck of a lot to it, which is great. It's really easy to use. It's super powerful. And yeah, so I'm just going to do this here real quick too. I didn't update any of these on my spreadsheet, so I'm going to do that real quick because I think I still have it open here. Yep, this one. So just to show you, I'm going to grab a bunch of these and just kind of blindly paste them around a little bit, just so you can see a lot of this enter in on itself here, because I want to show you the power that it has. And we'll just put some more in. I just want you guys to see this work. And I've got a couple of other examples I'm going to show you of some other spreadsheets and data that what some of my other use cases I've seen for it. And that looks good. So I've saved it. Let me save it again. There we go. Hop back over here to Revit. Load. Grab my revision on sheet spreadsheet. Open. And you can see all those boxes already checked themselves right out of the gate. So I can cancel it and back out if I feel like something's wrong. I notice a mistake here. But it's all done. It did everything I told it to do so far. So now I can click apply. It's updating everything. And now let's go find a sheet where I know I added a few. So how about A104? And I don't have that one open, so let's go find it. A104. Here we go. So yeah, here we go. I know I added these three down here at the bottom, and I think I already had a revision up here for ADB2. Now, my notations, make it seem like that there should be clouds on these sheets potentially. Now, had the clouds been on the sheet already, I wouldn't have had any need to do it the way I've done it here, right? And normally, you probably wouldn't do it the way I did it. But if the entire sheet is changing because you have that much information getting adjusted, maybe, don't need to cloud the whole floor plan necessarily. You can just put it on there. It's part of the set. They should be able to track it down. So my workflow isn't necessarily 100% accurate as far as how you would add the revisions themselves, but maybe you will. Who knows? Probably not, though. And that's it. That's all I got. That's the tool. So what I want to point out real quick before I let you guys go and open it up for additional questions is to show you some where you can get it. So on our website, it's part of the BIM Project Suite. So you go to products, BIM Project Suite. and get yourself a trial if you need it. If you've already got it, it should be on your CTC productivity tab there. There's more information down here below, including information on Revision Manager, a little bit about it, and a quick little, there should be a reference to a video here as well that you can get brought to, which will bring you to the YouTube channel. And if you search Revision Manager or just Revision, well, we can do Revision Manager, you'll find some videos on how Revision Manager was used in the project suite and in any other workflow video that we've done, and a little bit about the cloud remover if you find it, which is another good one that kind of ties together with this one in a little bit with some workflows. So that does it for me today. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you guys every week, and look forward to seeing you at the next one.